army as a private in 1954, he was already a controversial war hero in 2 other countries. Larry's real name was Lauri Torni, and he was actually born in Finland. For most of his adult life, he had been fighting against the Soviets, both as part of the Finnish army and the Waffen-SS during World War II. To this date, Lauri Torni remains the only former member of the Nazi army to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery, the most hallowed of American burial grounds. Larry Thorne joins a long list of people running away from their names. In the Magellan TV documentary Descendants of Nazis, An Infernal Legacy, discover what it's like to grow up with the infamous surname Himmler or Göring, knowing that your parents or grandparents perpetrated some of the Third Reich's greatest atrocities. Magellan TV is a streaming service run by filmmakers, which offers documentary movies, series, and exclusive playlists on wide-ranging subjects and interests. Dark Ducks viewers can now take advantage of a 30% annual membership discount by visiting try.magellantv.com/darkducks or clicking the link in the description below. This and more premium content is available at try.magellantv.com/darkducks for less than $3.50 per month with our exclusive offer. Go there now to start a 14-day free trial and begin streaming more than 3,000 documentaries with new programs added every week. The Winter War. Lauri Alan Torni was born in Viipuri, Finland on May 28, 1919. Torni soon proved to be highly athletic, and he was childhood friends with future Olympic boxing gold medalist Sten Suvio. After attending business school and serving with the Finnish National Guard, a 19-year-old Torni enlisted for military service in 1938. He then joined the 4th Independent Jaeger Infantry Battalion. Only a year later, as the rising Nazi regime invaded Poland, a war between Russia and Finland broke out. The Winter War began in 1939 when the Finnish government refused to give up large tracts of their land to the Russians, who attacked in retaliation. Russia expected to steamroll over the small country of a mere 3 million inhabitants. However, the Finns put up a fierce defense that humiliated the Red Army. Torni fought in the war as part of the 4th Battalion and used Finnish guerrilla warfare, focusing on small unit tactics and deep knowledge of their own grounds. His leadership potential was soon noticed by the commanding officers, and he excelled during the Battle of Rautu, earning a promotion as a Van Ricki, 2nd Lieutenant. However, the Red Army eventually recovered and brought superior arms, munitions, technology, and better trained men. The Finnish had no chance. When the Winter War finished in March of 1940, the Finns had lost under 30,000 men compared to 130,000 Soviets. Still, Finland was forced to sue for peace and handed the Soviets the land they wanted. The conflict and ultimate loss left Torni with a severe dislike of the Soviet Union and communism in general. The Continuation War. In 1941, Torni traveled to Vienna to train with the Waffen-SS, a military branch of the Nazi regime's Schutzstaffel organization consisting of Germans and volunteers from occupied and unoccupied nations. He was itching for payback against the Soviets after the humiliating loss in his home country. By the time he completed his training, Torni was promoted to Untersturmführer, the SS equivalent of a lieutenant. Soon, Finland would again engage in combat with the Soviet Union as part of World War II. However, this time, the Finnish were aided by the Germans, who provided material and economic support, in addition to military and intelligence assistance. Torni was then promoted to captain and put in charge of a unit of snow skier soldiers. He personally trained the men in his unit, turning them into an elite reconnaissance and raiding formation. The team was known to conduct highly dangerous missions behind enemy lines. In 1942, he was awarded a German Iron Cross for leading his team into a firefight against the Red Army, which involved soldiers skiing down the slopes with guns blazing. Around this time, Torni was severely injured when he accidentally skied over a landmine, but he recovered and returned to fight the Russians. He was such an effective guerrilla warfare soldier that the infuriated Russians put up a bounty of 3 million Finnish marks on his head, the only time the Red Army had offered a reward for a Finland native. By 1943, Torni had become a national hero. His skiing unit was known as Detachment Torni, and he was lauded for his technical warfare skills and for being a great and respected leader. Mauno Koivisto, one of Torni's unit members, who later became Finland's president, described his captain in an interview years later, quote, "In many ways he emphasized that we were all the same bunch, and he bore his share just like the others. He did not ask anyone to do something he did not do himself. He carried his own load, marched at the lead, and was one of us." A Finnish Nazi. After the Continuation War ended, with Finland once again suing for peace, Torni's unit was disbanded, but the captain still wanted to fight the Soviets. In 1945, Torni joined a pro-Nazi Finnish resistance movement. He then hitched a ride on a U-boat and arrived in Germany to train in clandestine guerrilla and sabotage warfare. However, Turney's training ended prematurely as the Nazi regime was reeling on its last legs. The captain didn't have a way to return to Finland and found himself stuck in the collapsing Third Reich. A few months later, Turney had no choice but to surrender to Allied troops and was sent to a camp for prisoners of war. But the resourceful captain managed to escape and was back in Finland by June of 1945. A political liability. Although Turney had been hailed as a national hero during the Continuation War, his subsequent German participation divided the nation. Upon arrival in Finland, Captain Turney was arrested. He then escaped, was rearrested, and tried for treason. In 1947, he was sentenced to 6 years in jail, but he again escaped months later and was recaptured. President Juho Paasikivi eventually granted him a pardon, and he was released in December of 1948. Turney then traveled to Sweden, where he fell in love with a Swedish Finn, Maria Kops. But wanting to establish a career first, he traveled to Caracas, Venezuela, as a Swedish seaman. He then got a job at a Swedish cargo ship bound for the United States. As the vessel floated near Alabama, Turney jumped overboard and swam to American territory, claiming asylum as a political refugee. With the help of former Office of Strategic Services Chief William Donovan, the captain obtained a residency permit. Turney settled in Brooklyn with fellow Finnish immigrants and spent years working as a carpenter, a bartender, and a cleaner. After the Hodge-Philbin Act was implemented in 1954, Turney became eligible to enlist in the United States Armed Forces. He anglicized his name to Larry Thorne and readily joined. American top brass already knew of his expertise in guerrilla warfare, and he was admitted into the Special Forces Group as a first lieutenant, eventually rising to the rank of captain. From the late 1950s to the early 1960s, Thorne served in the 10th Special Forces Group stationed in West Germany, where he was part of a secretive search and recovery mission along the Zagros Mountains in Iran. The successful mission led to more recognition for the soldier, and he was promoted to commander of a Special Forces team in the advancing Vietnam conflict. Vietnam. As part of the incomparable Green Berets, Thorne quickly earned a reputation as one of the community's fiercest and most formidable officers. His condition was such that he could frequently outperform soldiers half his age. According to one commanding officer's evaluation, quote, "I have not known any officer in his grade to whom he can be compared. He's over 40 years old and has the physical ability of a person of 25. Once in Vietnam, he became a trusted advisor to South Vietnamese soldiers in the Mekong Delta. During his service in the war, he earned a Bronze Star for his bravery and 2 Purple Hearts. In 1965, Thorne returned to Asia for a second tour. He was then assigned to the Studies and Observations Group, a highly classified multi-service special operations unit that conducted covert unconventional warfare missions. On October 18, 1965, Captain Larry Thorne would oversee an air-based mission to identify Viet Cong positions on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But his helicopter crashed merely 5 minutes after takeoff due to poor weather conditions and visibility. The Army first listed Thorne as missing in action, but his status was later updated to killed in action in South Vietnam. Rescue and recovery teams searched the mountainous area 25 miles from Da Nang, but they could not locate the helicopter. The Army even sent some units to Vietnam that showed pictures of Thorne to locals, but no one recognized him. Thorne was posthumously promoted to Major, and was also awarded a Legion of Merit and a Distinguished Flying Cross. Every year, on the anniversary of his passing, his comrades would do a toast in his honor, quote, "Wherever he may be." A bittersweet ending. There was considerable speculation for decades on the facts surrounding Thorne's disappearance. Some theories even posited that he had survived the crash and was captured by the Soviets. In 1999, Thorne's helicopter wreckage was finally located by the joint United States and Finnish Armed Task Force team.